to demonstrate this platform, as I'm going to be able to demonstrate, will show you that you have more control, more liquidity, and it's more of a benefit to you and yours in comparison to some of the things that we've been taught to use, like the current banking system. So I'm going to share my screen. Again, I want to thank Dwayne for allowing me to share this with his community. All right, so let me go here. Let me see, share. And I hope you guys can see my screen. All right, so the name of this opportunity is called Origin, right? When I first heard about it, was March the 3rd is when I got started. It was just a couple of days before it had reached its first year in operation, which was March the 7th. So I got started on the 3rd. As of March the 7th, it became a year old. And so I've been in it for just a little under 4 months. The long and short of it, if you just can remember this and write this down, whatever you put in, whatever amount, whether that's $100 or $1,000, or in my case $2,000, $20,000, it's going to double in 90 days or less. 90 days or less. So if you put in 100 as an example, in 90 days or less, it's going to be $200. If you put in 1,000 in 90 days, it's going to be $2,000. You put in 20 like I did in 90 days or less, it's going to be 40,000. So this became really exciting. But the bigger part is that you have access to your principal 24/7 after the first 16 hours. I'm going to repeat that. You have complete access to your capital, your original funds, after the first 16 hours from the original deposit. And again, I'll demonstrate that. So that became very exciting, because usually platforms that would run with people money, they were centralized, which means that they had someone controlling the strings that would determine when you could pull your money out, how much you can pull it out, et cetera, et cetera. Because this is a smart contract, and it's the denounced smart contract, which means that through third-party auditors, they were able to verify that there's no honeypots, no backdoors where someone can come back and snatch the money. Now, we've heard that before, so we still, my thinking going in is that I still have to tread light. But when I waited and I looked at the fact that I could pull my principal out, then I said I wanted to not just lose 90 days trying to figure it out. So I personally decided to go in heavy. $20,000 is a lot of money, but it wasn't going to make or break me if I lost it. But at the end of the 90 days, my thinking was I wanted it to be significant so that I could pull my 20 out and have 20 working for me. And that was one of the best decisions that I made. And I made really good decisions in this space over the past 12 years, because not only did I double my money, I'm working on in less than 4 months having tripled my money, because not only are we getting compounding, which is 3 times a day, every 8 hours, the value of the token is going up. So that's increasing the value of the portfolio as you compound. So there's multiple things that are happening at once that makes this a great opportunity. Again, puts us in position to where we can double our money in 90 days or less. Give an example that Dwayne just gave, when his wife put in $1,000 a week ago Friday. So again, it's a little over a week. She put in 1,000, and now her account is over 1,500. So it's about to double in less than 30 days. So again, when we got in, we was told it would take anywhere from 90 days or less, but that or less is really significant right now, because even those who saw the call yesterday, the coin has jumped up, I think, another 40 or 50%, 50 cent, not percent, 50 cent since even last night. So the way you connect is you don't have to enter any personal information. It is a smart contract, so it's connected through your wallet that you control, which is a MetaMask wallet or a Trust wallet. So I'm going to log in on my wallet and my top account. All right, so this is my top account number one. I'm going to connect it. That's how you interact with the platform. Now, as you can see, this right here, if you look in your upper left-hand corner, every 8 hours, you get paid out 0.26%. If you look over here to your right, 0.26% on whatever you have deposited every 8 hours. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. So in the next 3 hours and 30 minutes, I'm going to get paid 0.26% on the over $11,000 that I have in this particular account. And that equates to 1.5 of the token. So if the token is currently going for $19.41, that means that I'm going to get $19, somewhere around $30, somewhere around $30 in the next 8 hour session. And then the next hours after that, another $30. And then the next 8 hours after that, another $30 for somewhere around $90 a day just on the top part of this particular account. And I have multiple accounts. So that's $90 a day just on this part. All right. And again, if the coin goes up in value, so does the value of the portfolio on the LGNS tokens that I have right here that we are staking. Someone gave the example of this. It seems like, close, like we're mining or close to mining. I said, that's exactly it. But the beauty of it is, unlike other platforms, you're staking it in real time. But if you need the money, you hit unstake, unstake. And this is what we were talking about as far as control. And I can take out anything that's not in the warm-up balance. Remember, warm-up balance is new money that came in and has to sit for 16 hours before it can be moved to the staking balance as far as having liquidity. Even though when it's in the warm-up balance, you're still getting your compounding. So when you deposit monies for the first time, it's going to go into your warm-up balance. Guess what? You're still getting your compounding effect, but you won't have access to it until after it reach the 16 hours or less. And then where it says locked right here, a red button will pop up with claim on it. You click that claim button and go through the protocols in your wallet, and then it will move that money into your stake balance to where you have access to withdraw it if you need to, if something come up. So say, for instance, in this example, I got $11,523 in here. Now, if I wanted to take 5,000 out because an emergency rose, I would just simply go to unstake and I would take out 200 and something coins, right? And hit unstake. It will open up my wallet. I can confirm it. It will send it to my wallet, right? And then I can convert it to DAI, take DAI and convert that to Bitcoin or USDT or Ethereum, whatever token that I want to use to cash out. Okay. And in some cases, if you got Uphold wallet, you could just send the DAI to your Uphold wallet and cash out from there. It would depend on the exchange that you're using to liquidate into cash that is, that we normally know is used to spend or to consume. All right, so I'm going to cancel this because I'm not trying to take money out. I still want it to be liquid, but I'm just showing you how easy it is for you to be able to literally have your money in seconds. As a matter of fact, I'll do a quick example with just 2 coins. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to pretend I need $40 or so. So I'm going to hit unstake. It goes here. I hit confirm. So after a few seconds, it's going to move from my stake balance to my unstaked because I just unstaked it to have access to it. So there you go right there. Now I'm about to convert it by switching this to DAI. That's $38. I hit swap. It's going to charge me a 5% cost. And this is how the platforms generate money for all its members across the globe. And it's going to move. So it's converting from the LGNS token, which is the native token to the site, to the DAI. And I have $46 in my wallet that I can do whatever I want with right there. That's how easy it is to pull money out. Just that easy, just that simple, just that quick. Now, keep in mind, because this is decentralized, it's not a bank. You have people who could literally pull millions or tens of thousands out the same way I just pulled that $40 out. That's incredible. So usually platforms that run with people money, they're not giving you that type of access to be able to pull your liquidity out and control. In addition to that, let's go back to the home screen. In addition to that, you have $245 million. $245 million in your treasury. You have $2 billion worth of market value as far as assets. When we got in little over 3 months ago, this was only $77 million. So in less than 4 months, this grew from 70, which was still significant. 77, when I saw that, I was impressed. To have $77 million liquidity and to have it go all the way up to $240 worth of liquidity. In addition, right here, this was just under $500 million of market value. And now we're pushing 2.3 billion plus worth of market value. That's incredible. And keep in mind, these smart contracts can hold a lot of money. I can show you an example. Let me show you guys a quick example for reference. This is something that's been around for a while, but I want you guys to see this. Then we're going to go into an example of how you can generate money off $100 and play with a few numbers. But just for reference, I want to show you guys something. This is a project to where they loan, you can put your crypto in and borrow against it. I want to show you how these smart contracts, this is decentralized finance as well, can hold a lot of money. I want you guys to pay close attention. $32.23 billion. You got 13.7 billion borrowers. And this talks about the availability, which is also in the billions. So these smart contracts can hold a lot of money, you guys. Let me go back here. They can hold a lot of money. The beauty of this is it's only a year old and we're just getting started. So they're predicting. I have a friend who's been a trader with as well as I'm a day trader. We've been trading for 7 years plus. And he did some research. He joined Opportunity. He did some research. And he says the projections that he see and just in the next few months is this coin that is currently at $19 going somewhere between $21 and $31. Now, with any coin or any opportunity, the prices go up and down. Gold goes up and down. Me and Dwayne is big in gold and silver. The dollar goes up and down. You and I go up and down. We don't stay up 24/7. But what we want to make sure that we're looking at is the trend. Here's an example of LGNS on a coin market cap. And look at the trend. And what I love about this, the red is people taking the money out. The green is people putting money in. So that shows that it's liquid. You know, people are winning. Why? Because they can take money out 24/7, no matter where they are at in the world. And even when people take larger money out, like an example, this is an hour chart. Within the same hour, it shot right back up and went back, continued to go back in an upward projection. So timing is everything. And we always stress that people do their due diligence. But remember, time is money. You can literally earn while you learn. I'm just hoping that we can give you enough information today to make a decision. And you could do like I'm doing, earn while you learn. And I'm still learning about the project because, again, it's so many different components to this ecosystem that, I mean, you're not going to learn it all in one day. And we could tell you just from when folks got started with Dwayne's team that got started 2 days ago and the people got started yesterday, they've gained even more value because that coin, when I first shared it with Dwayne, when he started sharing it with his folks, it was at $18.40. And just a couple of days later, the coin is at $19. And so it's already went up $1 in the past 3 days. So when I was first telling Dwayne about this, and he got involved at 125, and I joked with him yesterday, very fondly. I said, man, if you'd have listened to me, I said, Dwayne, put 5 or 10 in there. I said, I got 20 in there. Put 5. You got access to it, brother. Because I wanted to see him win big. But he said, no, man, we've been hurt. I really want to be careful. And I said, okay, well, just put something in there. Do not do anything so you can at least see it and down the line this would be something that may be beneficial to you and your family, and of course your network. And it's happened true to form. And now he's sharing the information with you guys. And he did what a responsible leader is supposed to do. He definitely, tested it out because he's responsible for so many people. And then once he saw it work, he put in more. And then once he saw that work, he said, "Okay, I got to share this." And it's still early. Don't feel like of course, you could have did better if you got in earlier, but we are still in the early stages because the people who developed this platform, you guys, their previous project was built on the Ethereum blockchain 4 years ago, and at that time, that was the Ethereum platform was the latest and the greatest, and it was a lot cheaper. Now it's a lot slower, and the fees are higher. So because when they denounced that contract, they can't change it. They had to develop a whole new one. So that platform, which is the OHM token, OHM, is still running. And I think the last time I checked, that token is over $20 of a token in a program that they started. The same people who started this one started that one. And that is still paying people out. They just paying higher fees, and the system is running a little slower. Now, they created a better system on the Polygon network where it runs faster and the fees are literally pennies on a dollar. We're not paying, 12, 30, $40 to pull out money or to, navigate those high fees in a slower network. Now that, 4 years later in a faster network, they can do it faster and they can do it cheaper. So that's why they developed the Origin project and made it better than the previous one that they did, which again, so they have a track record of a program that's been running 4 years plus, in addition to this platform that has been running for over a year. That said a lot to me. So that's why I was willing personally to put in over 20,000, what I should say about $20,000, and then it has grown to well over. At this point, I pulled out my 20, and I still have $40,000 working for me, only being into the project now going on 4 months and it would be 4 months as of the third of this upcoming July. And again, that's incredible. So again, let's show you this example and then we'll open it up for questions. All right. So say for instance, you decided to get started with just $100. It's a program that Dwayne and you guys are in where you pay $100 fee to get in, and then in 3 years they give you 35,000. I said, Dwayne, I heard the presentation. I respect the gentleman who did the presentation. I know him about another opportunity. He's an excellent guy. And people only know what they know. But with this platform, if you take the same $100, so we're going, this is an LGNS. So if you, let me put the right code in there. So 0.2. Okay, so this is about $100 right now, right, in LGNS. Now, as you can see right here, in 7 days, that $100 is going to be around $106.71. In a month, let me make this bigger so you guys can see it. Excuse me. I want you to see it. All right. So in a month, it's going to be that same $100 going to be 121. Now, keep in mind, this is only if the coin stays at the same price. We know that the coin is trending up. So this number could be a lot higher. And given full disclosure, if the price of the coin dips, it could be a lot lower. But what we're concerned with is the fact that it's compounding, and eventually the compounding will overtake the fluctuation of the coin, and it won't matter even if it goes low, because when it's compounding the LGNS token, not the dollar amount. So even if it dips, say for instance, pull back to 18, give people get a chance to get in it, the opportunity cheaper. And then it's still compounding. But guess what? When it goes past 18 or 19 again, remember, you've been accumulating more LGNS tokens. So even when it reached back to where it did the dip, you're going to be in a better position because those coins are going to be worth more because you bought them in lower. And then when it goes up to 20 or 30, it's a game changer. So 6 months later, a year later, on a one-time $100 deposit in a year, that 100 has turned into 1,813 at the current market price. At the current market price. All right. Now, let's copy this number because this, you went from just starting with 5.2 tokens, right? So now you're at 93.3 tokens. So let's put that in here and run it for the second year. Now you at 32,563. This is not sharing it with anybody. You put the 100 in and you forgot about it for 2 years. And you come back, you see Dwayne, you say, hey, Dwayne, how's that project going? Whatever happened to it? You say, hey, Dwayne tell you it's still running. You need to go and check your account. He shows you how to log back in. You started with 100 just to test it out because you was unsure, and you're up to 32,000. It blows your mind. And guess what? You got access to it at that moment. You don't have to wait another day, another year. You got access, like I just demonstrated to you, where you could pull that money out in real time right at that moment. Now, let's go one more year, because in using this example with the example about the other program, and where people was going to buy multiple and you can't have access to it for 3 years. What if you could have access to it and in 3 years, instead of having 35,000, you got over a 500,000? Powerful, powerful, powerful. Liquid all the way. Liquid all the way. Now, let's start with somebody who said, let's say they're going to do 1,000. So let me divide 1940 into 1,000.
Let's do 500.
Okay, let's do 500. So that's about 25.7. So, and at the current market value of the token, which is at 19.4, right? In 7 days, that $500 is going to turn into 527. And again, that depends on the fluctuation of the token, right? But it's compounding 3 times a day, every 8 hours, right? In a month, all right, that's significant. Where are you going to get that kind of return on your money dealing with the bank, parking your money at the bank? You're not going to get that return just in 30 days, in a lifetime of your bank account, putting $100 in there. I want to repeat that. You put $100 in your bank. Are you going to get $130 growth on that in a lifetime? Or I'm gonna say 500. I say, because we started with 500. If you put 500 in there, in the lifetime of that bank account, will you ever see $132 added on to that? You will not. If anything, is going to go down because of inflation, or the fact that they're printing up that money, and it's going to take more money to get the same goods and services that were cheaper yesterday. Right now, 6 months, that 500 is 2 grand. In a year, that 500 is 8 grand. That's without adding another dime. That's without telling a soul about it, because you do not need to share this with anybody. Dwayne does not have to share this opportunity at all. He will still continue to make his money on that 1,000 and that 100 or whatever he decides to put in. And he doesn't have to share this to a soul. He's just giving people first rights or refusal, a chance to say yes or no. And it doesn't make him a difference. It dang sure doesn't make a difference to me, because, I'm already risk free. So everybody would have to make an individual assessment, or risk management of what they're willing to do. But let me tell you something, because we cannot give out guarantees. And I want to make that very clear. No one can guarantee that any program or opportunity is going to be around tomorrow, more or less 3 years from now. But what we're saying to you is, with all the options that they have out there, this is something like we have never seen, because you have complete control of your money 24/7. No one has to approve your withdrawal. If you need money, you can go back and grab your capital and do what you need to do once you learn how to do the conversions. So the liquidity is there. The benefit of you parking it is there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so that's the example with the 500. We're gonna do one more example with 1,000. So let's take this up to 51. All right. So in 7 days, that 1,000 would have gained $46 in a month, 6 months. And 6 months, you guys, is flying by. So to be able to, quadruple your money in 6 months with $1,000 one time without sharing this with anybody is really, really nice. A year, 17,000. Now, lastly, if you decide to share this opportunity, you go to invite. Yeah, say for instance you're in a while, like Dwayne was in it for a while, like I was in it, and I decided to share it. And again, this is optional. You do not have to do it. You get a referral link, and you just click copy, and then there's some videos that he's going to send out to show you. It's over 49 videos that will talk about everything that I'm sharing with you and more. And you could watch that at your own convenience, in your own way, in your own time. Stop, pause, do whatever you need to do to digest the information, and then we'll answer every question for you. We just, again, give you enough information to make a decision if you decide to move forward today, and then earn while you learn. Now, I decided to share this. What this represents is that I have 15 referrals, whether they were my personal referrals or whether it was me adding additional accounts under my account. So for those of you who are having questions in your mind whether or not you can add one or two more accounts, the answer is yes. And in most cases, it's very wise for you to do so, right? Because if you're going to bill, you have to have certain referrals to your top wallet and a certain amount of money deposited to be able to get the percentage. It's 15 levels deep, and I will be able to show you the chart on that as soon as we get an opportunity to do so. But so I shared it with 15 people uh, uh, in my organization, and now I'm getting paid on 1,741 wallets. All right. And right now, the current value of those total deposits in my downline or in my organization, on starting with 15 wallets that I either personally referred or shared it with somebody else, which again, because people could have multiple wallets, and they share it with somebody and they share it with somebody, going down 15 levels, which right here is this total right here. If we go over here, the total sum of all of this is over 72,000, pushing 73,000 of the LGNS tokens for a value of $1.4 million, you guys, in less than 4 months. So I'm literally getting paid on the volume of $1.4 million. What does that look like? Let me see if I can go over here to the turbine and show you. All right, so I'm making somewhere around 3.5 tokens. Yeah, 3.5 tokens every 8 hours. So multiply this number times 3. So that's somewhere, what's that? That would be about, I think, 1005. Somebody do the math for me. Is that about what? 1005? 10.5? So multiply 10.5 times $19.40. So just on the referral part alone, that's what I'm making on this one account every 24 hours, every day. So let me do the math real quick, so no one got back to me. I want to let me do the math. So I got 3.5 times 3. Again, that's 10.5 times 19.40. You're talking $203.70 a day just on the referral part. Now, if we add what I'm getting on the staking right here, which is about, let me do that. So that's 203. Now let me add this up. 1.5 times 3 is 4.5 times 19.4. That's $87. So I'm literally at $293 a day on just this, my top account. 7 days a week. I hope this is registering. So so I'm gonna log out for a second, then we're gonna open up. I want to share with you one more account. So again, this is my top account. You can have multiple accounts. I got over 11,000 in this account, so I'm logging out. I'm gonna go to this account here. I'm going to log in. My second account. All right. In this account, I have equally over 11,000. I'm still getting 1.5. So we already know that's around, $87 a day. If I go here to, let me see, log in here, see if it's right. So let's go to the turbine. So I'm getting 3 a day here. So that's 3 times a day. So that's 9 tokens. Multiply that. So you start to get the picture. I'm somewhere around $750 to $800 a day, 7 days a week, 4 months in. Where am I going to be at 6 months in? Just this a rhetorical question to think about. So I'm going to stop sharing here. Or I'm going to open it up for any questions anybody may have, and we'll take it from there so we can wrap up. Anyone have any questions? Just unmute yourself and state your
Yes,
question.
I do. Good.
Sure.
I got in late on the presentation, but here's what I heard. I heard staking. I heard you have control. Um, but here is my trauma. This is 1 week since I was in a platform, staked my money in. It was in my trust wallet. I had full control. That's what I was told. But then early Monday morning, I got up and it was all gone.
Cryptex.
It
Is that the
no,
name of
not
the? Was that the name of the
no,
product?
no, it wasn't Cryptex. It
What
was
was?
BitPay.
Oh, BitPay. Oh,
Yeah,
someone tried to get me in that a day before it crashed. So I'm glad you brought that up. And this is this.
not even crashed before they stole it. Because it was stolen.
uh, Okay, hold on. Let me deal with your issue because we've
Mhm.
all experienced that. So that's unfortunate because people have lost thousands of dollars. So
Yes,
when I'm evaluating a platform, I'm gonna tell you how this is different. Was that centralized or decentralized?
it was decentralized. That it was all that stuff because the money
No,
was in your
no.
trust
Hold on,
wallet.
hold on, hold on, hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Because again, you're new to that experience, so I can understand why you might be emotional about it. But that wasn't decentralized, from what I understand. It was a guy who was running that platform, and it was connect to your custodial wallet, and they were telling people that, like you said, that that money was in there, and all it had to do was be in there. And but this is from my experience. I'm saying if you're staking, you have to give up some type of control. And so what I mean by giving up control, when I connect this to it and it takes certain permissions for us to be able to, we know that they're leveraging our tokens. We know that up front. That was centralized because you have somebody controlling the strings of whatever the platform it was that did it. It wasn't a denounced contract. It was a smart contract, but it wasn't a
Yeah,
denounced contract. So when I saw that, I took note of that. Not that that's a bad just because it's centralized doesn't mean it's a bad opportunity. Everybody, you have a lot of good opportunities that are centralized, but when you're talking centralized versus decentralized, there's two different things. That's number one. Number two, we have access, and they were saying that you have access to it, so I get that part. But the number two for me was that it had been just a couple of weeks old. They didn't have a track record like this. They have a track record. This is over a year old. We know that with new programs, especially when you're dealing with those type of programs or these type of programs, you want to look at the time in which it was open. If it's because usually they crash within 90 days to 6 months. If it's been open for over a year, and the company that set this one up or the people who programmed this had a previous project that is running 4 years, you want to take that into consideration as well. So that's unfortunate that that happened to you and so many people. Why? Because when a good opportunity such as what I've experienced with this comes along, then you're going to be a little bit more careful and reticent about doing it as you should. But like I tell you and others who've lost in the space, and let me tell you something, I lost. 70,000 in the platform before. I lost 20,000 in the platform, 10,000. We ain't gonna count the times that I lost $1,000 or less in 12 years. But what I've learned is that I have to do something. That's why I do multiple streams. That's where me and Dwayne relationship come into play. We've done multiple streams and we've gotten better and better. And I'll speak for myself, and Dwayne can speak for himself. I've gotten better at evaluating platforms because of those losses, but I never let it stop me from doing multiple streams because that's biblical for those of you who are Christian. The Bible says we must have 7, even 8 streams of income because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So if God is uncertain what tomorrow's going to bring as far as when it comes to investments, and He knows all, He's given us wisdom. He's saying, "Hey, don't put all your eggs in one basket and you must have multiple streams because the other alternative, and this is the kicker that everybody needs to pay attention to, if you don't put money at risk, then you're gonna either have to work for it for the rest of your life or you're gonna park it in the bank, and guess what they're gonna do for you? Give you nothing for it while they leverage it at risk. So we have to take our hits, learn from it. Losing is a part of winning. Talk to anybody who's made millions of dollars over and billions of dollars over the years. You haven't made no money till you lost. So we don't stop because we lose. We learn from it and we move forward. I give you a couple more practical examples. I got my heart broken at 16 and I thought I would never survive it. But that didn't stop me from dating. I got over it. I learned from it. I made better decisions, and I went on to get married. And I've been married for going on 16 years. I remember eating at a restaurant, and I got food poisoning. I felt I was going to die. Didn't stop me from eating. Guess what? If I stopped eating, I was going to die anyway. So I say all these practical examples so that we can learn from the same thing when it comes financially. To ask one person who is a multimillionaire, billionaire, if they were a winner on everything that they did, and if they say they won on everything, I'm on a call cap, as my son would say. So, man, I'm so sorry that you experienced that. I heard about that. I was about to put $1,000 in there just to test it out. And thank God that I didn't get a chance to do that. And I called the lady back the next day and said, "Okay, I'm about to put 1,000 in." She said, "Guess what? It's going." I said, "Wow." So I knew about that. Yeah,
Hey, can I add to that, man?
sure.
In addition to what you have said, in the beginning, most of us had no idea how to do our due diligence. And therefore, we saw something that looked like gold glitters, but it wasn't really gold because we need to dig to find out if it was gold or not, including myself. So, like, you've lost a lot of money also because I was just emotional, jumping to stuff and not being able to do my due diligence. But based on that information, that experience, I've learned a whole lot more how to look at stuff because not everything that glitters is gold, as we always say. So, this thing is built on a smart contract, right? Most people don't know how that stuff works, right? The guys who write these smart contracts, right? If possible, they can go back in there later on in the back end and scoop out your money without you even knowing it. So these smart contract has to be verified by third party companies like Solidity and those guys to lock that contract to make sure that those guys who build it over there, they can't go back in there anymore to swoop your money out of the platform. This is one thing that has to be done. And so, I just want to, put that in there to you guys and ladies who may have some reservation in doing stuff because they've gotten burned before. We all did. All, got scammed because we didn't know what we're doing. We're going by emotional other than education and knowledge. Now we got the knowledge, we know what to do and what not to do. So based on what I've seen here, I think this is 99% a good place to be in.
And
That
listen, I appreciate you saying that. And this is another sign that you look at. And I was sharing this with a gentleman yesterday. And even use an example that the gentleman just brought up that is so unfortunate for the people who lost money with that project. Usually, again, that program, from my understanding, was only up a couple weeks. When you have $245 million of liquidity and $2 billion worth of assets, what are you waiting on if you're going to run with it? What are you waiting on again, this is another thing that I've learned to look at. The fact that they have a previous opportunity that's still running, the fact that I literally, again, and we always say the caveat, and it's equally true with this opportunity. Don't put in money that you can't afford to lose. That's the golden rule. And the gentleman who just spoke, I'm sure he'll concur with that, because that's one of the things that you learn. Don't put in what you can't afford to lose. That's number one. Number two, when you start to see that it has this type of liquidity, usually they're running with 10 or 20 million. What are they waiting on? And it's a rhetorical question. When you got 245 million, if I got 10 partners and we were going to run a scam, we good at probably at 45 million, because what they do is they wait to get a certain amount, they run with it, they live off that money for a few months, and they come up with another one, and hope people fall for the same okey doke again. But again, a lot of those are centralized platforms where you have somebody that's the owner and developer, and they'll tell you, okay, it was hacked and all kind of crap. That's another excuse they use. Oh, we were hacked, when it really was an inside job. But what are they waiting on? That's 45 million, 245 million they could take. That's over $2 billion that could be taken. What are they waiting on? And the fact that it's over a year is a huge plus. Does that mean that this thing can go away tomorrow? No, it's no guarantee. But that's why when I put in a 20 personally, I was thinking about it from two different things. Did I, some guys, and I got some advice from some heavy hitters that, taught me. And when I first started, I would make 10, 20,000, 40,000, and I would be happy with that a month, right? And some of the guys that you were in it longer than me, they were making six figures or seven figures after 90 days or so. And I said, well, what am I doing wrong? I'm having success. What's the difference? They said, well, we go in heavy early, because sometimes even in a bad opportunity, if you get your money in early and out early, you can be risk free instead of going in light. So again, you have to, every individual person's risk tolerance and bankroll is going to be different. So each and every individual has to measure it that way based off of what they can afford to lose, their risk tolerance. And if it's something that you're unsure about, I'll be the first to tell you, and I said this yesterday, don't do it. Don't do it. Wait till something that you feel comfortable about. But guess what? There's no guarantee in any opportunity out here. I'm not going to tell you that. No one is going to be able to tell you that there's a guarantee when you give up control of your money. So you do that, because if you lose it, you're going to be responsible, not Dwayne, not myself. Why? We're not a part of the company. We're leveraging this technology. And we're telling you what we're telling you right now. Do it at your own risk tolerance. Because if you do like I've done, and you've tripled your money, you're not going to give that to Dwayne, and you're not going to give that to me. And we don't want it. That's your money. You took the risk. You deserve it. You don't owe anybody anything but your family. So that's going to be totally up to you. So you always consider that. Dwayne did the responsible thing. I did the responsible thing for me, even with the 20,000, because again, I didn't want 90 days to go by and I just made $200. I said, hey, I'm going to risk it at all. If it starts to look shaky, I know I can go and grab my money out. But this seems to be a very solid project. And I did that. It was one of the best decisions that I personally made based off of my experience with the space and how I evaluate platforms in comparison to someone else who might be under post-traumatic stress when it comes to these opportunities. But one thing is for certain, and two things is for sure. And I'm gonna close by saying this, is that if you don't put your money at risk to where it can outwork you, then what are you going to do? Are you going to work forever, or are you going to continue to park it in the bank where you're giving them the chance to leverage your money while you hold the risk? So you got to give yourself a chance. Anybody else have a
So,
question?
It's only
yes.
one
So
more thing,
are
and,
you
I, and
saying?
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. So just again, just to kind of back up what we are saying, because I have to do my own due diligence in this thing before telling people about it. So we also know that if this is true, that should the platform goes down, right, the smart contract has always the ability to still contain your money, and you can go and get your money there. Is that correct?
Yes. So what I'm
Right.
pulling up now, if you can see my screen, you guys, if you can see it, it's called a Polygon network. Okay. This is the smart. contract. I mean, this is the what you call that, the blockchain that the platform is built on. Now, where's the let me go grab the contract address. I want to show you guys something. So
While
this,
you're grabbing that contract, let me just say this: look, everybody, look in their chat. I posted the videos that he was talking about earlier. The origin is a Vimeo, has a bunch of videos, contest presentation, everything in there. So you can grab that off the chat and save that, and watch it at your own leisure.
right? So especially for those of you who come on late, because for sake of my time and efficiency, Dwayne's and everybody else who got in on time, we don't have time to do presentations over. Again, we want to enjoy what we're buying, and that's our time back to spend with our family and friends and loved ones. But the reason why Dwayne is sharing that in the chat so that you can watch over 49 videos and they're subtopic, so that you can go ahead and watch those videos and scroll down and see which videos pique your interest in regards to this program and take it from there. So going back to the gentleman who just spoke about, if, say, for instance, the site goes down, the website goes down, and it's happened since I've been in the platform. The website was attacked for about an hour and it went down. We were able to go into the smart contract, put the smart contract address in here where it says search, hit enter. It's going to verify that I'm a human. After it does that, it's going to bring us up to contract. So I hit contract. And it's a video that we'll send out to show you how to do this if that becomes the scenario, right? Then you go to write contract, you go to connect wallet, you go to right here to okay it, you connect it to your MetaMask. Guess what? I'm connected to the smart contract that is the origin, and I can go ahead and swap my money out within the wallet to the DAI token, put it in my account. You know how I know this? Because I was able to do it when the site went down. So I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to pay the fees or lose my position. But that's how you do it, guys. So the gentleman brought up a really good point. That's another way that if the site goes away or if it goes down, you still have access to your funds. Powerful, powerful, powerful opportunity. So if you've been burnt in the past, we all have been there and done that. So do your own due diligence as that makes you comfortable. Put in an amount that makes you comfortable. If the other program has been running for 4 years, man, look what I showed you with just $100 to do after 3 years. I'll rest my case on that alone. Everybody has $100 that they can risk, right? On the low end. But for those of you who like what they're seeing, they want to test it on and come in a little higher in their 90 days, $200 doesn't impress them. They want to maybe do 1,000 and get up to 2,000. Like Dwayne said, he put in 1,000 just last Friday. It's already up to 1,500 because of the scaling growth of the coin. Okay, so we just got to be careful. Every project, even though it may look like similar to what other projects have done, you got to measure it on its own merits, because what other options do we have? And that's what I tell my team when we go through bad experiences. Hey, are you going to continue to work forever? Are you going to park it in the bank, which we've been taught to do, and they take advantage of the money? Or are you going to just keep going and learn from that experience, because you don't lose if you are learning a lesson from that? All right. Anyone else?
So, Celine, what we're going to do, we'll give them in for the last questions. But for those, I know we got a few folks on us ready to get started. We're going to set them up. We can set up in live time. People, you're welcome to stay on. The presentation portion is over. So if you got your questions answered, you can feel free to log off. You can also feel free to hang in and see how we set people up. We do have a few folks that's ready to get started, and we can set them up so they can see that process. But we'll give one last second. Any last questions before we start that, and go from there. Mitch, did you set up your MetaMask wallet?
Hey, Dwayne, can you conclude this session and record that session additionally?
Yeah, let me stop this one and then record that one. Hold on. Let me stop this session.